Right, here we go. This is Quick Corners Revisited, and it's kind of all changed. Well, it's not really. I have just posted, or I've just recorded, rather, a little video about access and registers. Have a listen to that or watch that video. Certainly the beginning part as to where I'm kind of going with this track now. This is really about self-diagnosis. I mean, and I'm just kind of sharing this with you as I did with all the manual information. And I meant to say at the beginning of that video as well, you might notice I've got a little cut here. I was cycling on the way out here from my studio and I hit a bump and I wear a head torch because my front lights are knackered on top of my bicycle helmet. And the thing just came straight down and went smack and kind of hit me right here. So it's not so bad. It's okay. I will live. And my lovely complexion has not been altered. So, right, just to follow on from the quick corners and talking about the smile position, etc. And the more I'm thinking about this, I'm trying to get to the point of why trumpet players might smile. And it's not always necessarily about range. A lot of people who facilitate the smile position might do it for range because you get a faster buzz here. But I'm also thinking there's a lot of people out there that may use it or fall into the habit of using it because they don't get a natural buzz from a conventional setup, or they've not been told how to do it properly. So this is a potential can of worms I'm not going to get into because this is just really my thoughts here. Let's leave the can of worms for the comments below and we'll try and get around to them all. AJ and Esther, thanks so much for your comments in this. It's kind of got me thinking about a lot of stuff. I'm going to try and address some of what we talked about in here. And Gordon Hudson, thanks very much as well about the a certain Mr. 87 not being able to buzz a mouthpiece. Or mouthpiece buzzing not working, maybe more accurately. So the last video on Quick Corners, I talked about bringing the embouchure forward to try and engage everything towards to create an aperture. So in relation to the smile position, if the aperture is too open here, or not aligned, or for whatever reason the buzz doesn't naturally happen, gradually as you pull the lips back, this is going to get tighter and tighter and tighter here in the middle section. And it will start to vibrate. It's going to happen. It's like the perfect example is the old example of the elastic band. It's like when the elastic band is just like hanging there floppy, nothing really happens because there's no tension, there's no force, there's no energy given to that elastic band. When you pull it apart, then I mean, like, you can pull it apart and blow it. I don't have an elastic band. That would have been a great idea. There's some forward thinking, eh? And blow it, then it will start to vibrate. So and then once you have that smile embouchure developed, it's hard to come away from. So yeah, so maybe the smile embouchure is because a naturally occurring buzz position doesn't work. Maybe for the exact same reason why some of us can't buzz comfortably on a mouthpiece. So just very, very quickly, going to jump over to my horrendous chops cam over here. Sorry. And I was talking in my last video about how I'm trying to set my mouthpiece a little bit higher and also keep this a little bit higher as well, so that essentially I'm using the same embouchure instead of being like, I'm trying to just play with a gradual or a relaxed. Okay, so instead of being like set, I'm more now. And what I've kind of find this allows me to do is etc. Now it's not about pyrotechnics and range, etc. But it is about being able to move freely with as little manipulation as possible throughout the register. And a lot of people say that they are, they're really, really well established lead players, etc. That we all know their notes are really close together. They don't think about octaves as being miles apart. And sadly, yes, this does come down to range. But when you consider like the freedom of movement between our octaves or our registers on a chromatic or linear basis, then that's all part of the same thing. We want really just to be able to play our trumpet like a piano and just go up and down our scales like this, rather than thinking of going up and down our scales like this, like Incy Wincy Spider. So, what has this got to do with corners? When I've been thinking about, and this just happened from a little showrun that I had there and how the chops weren't working great, and I just had to relax and just think about what was going on. I've actually had to retrim the beard up and bottom just to try and get this to sit in a little bit more neater. What I was thinking about was how relaxed can I play the trumpet and still have access to everything. Now, when we start playing with dynamic and articulation and style, etc., then we have a duty to put a lot of energy into the instrument. It's not necessarily a lot of air, but in terms of how we manage the articulations and the notes, etc., then having this efficient setup here is going to be the best thing possible. So in relation to the mouthpiece buzzing, now I can still buzz on a mouthpiece, okay? But I have to manipulate quite a bit, as I demonstrated in the first quick corners position. So if I just go with my regular setup as I demonstrated there, and I just put the mouthpiece on my face, nothing happens, okay? So what do I have to do then to get the mouthpiece to buzz? Now, I am forcibly pushing my embouchure forward, and I'm also hitting down on the compression area. That seems to me to be a lot of work. Let's see what happens if I pull the corners back. With hardly any effort, then the buzz starts to engage. So is it a mouthpiece issue where corners come from, or smile position comes from, rather? I'm not entirely sure. But to re-engage the idea of coming away from the smile position, to me, it seems that while the mouthpiece can really, really help, and I have had good results with my student, and has taught me a lot about mouthpiece work, and I've not done a lot of mouthpiece work, so this is still an open book very much in terms of the benefits of doing the mouthpiece work for our playing. Because just to demonstrate, if I get my buzz happening and I try and move throughout my register, it's so hard. So I'm obviously working really, really hard there to achieve a goal that is much easier with it plugged into the mouthpiece. So, what did I achieve in this little video? I'm not entirely sure, other than coming to the minor conclusion that the smile comes from a miss or inappropriate setup initially here. Not every tutor, certainly I don't, and not a lot of my tutors that I had growing up had me do anything with the mouthpiece whatsoever. So maybe being taught with the mouthpiece encourages a smile. I didn't teach my student to do that with the mouthpiece, so I'm not entirely sure. But certainly trying to think about this set engagement and the relaxed end position, and then blowing, mouthpiece, and already engaged in the trumpet and trying to get a note there. Maybe that's a way to correct the smile position. This video isn't about the smile position. This video is about connecting the corners. So to finish off on quick corners, when I'm thinking about my new or modified setup, it's not a new setup. I'm sure I used to play like this. Something changed. When I think about my setup now, there's no effort in moving through certainly those two octaves. And once you start to ascend into the other octave, of course there is more compression. And the range hasn't really improved that much more, but in terms of being able to access A flats and A's, it has become a little bit easier. So the engagement of our corners and having everything set up as relaxed as possible can only really lead to the start of a good foundation of an embouchure, because if we're not trying to move anything, do anything with our jaws, and we just follow the advice of like a relaxed end position, mouthpiece on face, and just blow, then without too much manipulation, a sound should come out. And we shouldn't have to do anything more with that other than then learn how to change that sound in terms of pitch and dynamics. Okay, so before I start talking myself into any more rabbit holes, I'm going to stop it there. A little bit longer this recording than the previous one, but yeah, a few more developed ideas. Looking forward to hearing your input as much as usual, as often as possible. Try and keep it constructive. Please give me a like. And if you have something that you don't like about this video, instead of hitting the dislike button, pop a negative comment, but constructive, in the chat. I really need a lot more likes on the videos, and dislikes don't really help my videos get seen to the by the wider trumpet community, and that's all these really are. I'm not trying to teach everybody how to play trumpet. I'm sharing my own thoughts about playing trumpet, just like I did with the Maggio videos. And that conclusion of the Maggio is in the pipeworks as well. Still working out the final idea of how to do it. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and we're going to kind of revisit this and come back to it, etc. off and on. This embouchure, slight modification for me, is still in development. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Stay safe. Bye bye.